This is Food Safety First with your host, Ryan Ramdas.
Welcome to the Food Safety First podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ramdas. In today's episode, we'll discuss and introduce AIB International. It's my great pleasure and great honor to introduce Jeff Wilson, the Vice President of Food Safety and Baking Operations for Europe, Asia, and Africa. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Ryan.
How's everything?
It's going very well, thank you.
Good. Well, like I said, I'm very excited that you're here, and it's an honor to meet you finally and to discuss AIB. So, throw you right into it. What can you tell us about AIB? Who is AIB? What is AIB?
Well, we've been around for a long time. AIB International started its life as the American Institute of Bakers, and that was back in 1919. So just after World War One, there was a real need for baking industry to find ways to be more commercial, and alongside that was safety as well, food safety. So we actually started our life back in Minneapolis. People actually hear about AIB starting their life in Chicago, but we actually started back in 1919, and our first official date was actually on the 26th of September. And we were actually put together by the sort of far-sighted, forward-thinking bakers at the time. And there was an association which is still around today, the Association of American Baking. And that was the first start of an introduction to formal training in the baking industry, which then moved after a few years to Chicago. And we then started to provide bakery courses, bakery training for hundreds, if not thousands of students, until we moved to our current US headquarters in Manhattan, Kansas, which we did in 1977.
What led to that movement? What happened that actually make it necessary for you guys to come aboard?
Well, part of the success was the number of students, both domestic and internationally, traveling to do the training. And there was an opportunity working with K-State University, but also it's the heartland of growing and wheat in Manhattan. So surrounded by all this great raw material, and an opportunity to position and grow the business obviously came along in 1977, and we moved to this facility which we currently have today. And out of that facility, we grew the baking and food safety side of the business, providing the hands-on training for bakers to come to Manhattan, Kansas, with the pilot plants and the facilities that we put in place. And also that was pretty much the growth and start of our expansion globally as well, both from a food safety perspective and also from a baking perspective too.
That's interesting. So now, where are you today, and what are you doing globally?
Well, today we have 5 regions. So we have an office I mentioned in Manhattan, Kansas. I'm based here in the UK. We have an office just outside of London. We have an office in Shanghai, China, and then 2 other locations where we have our team working out of Asia Pacific and also Latin America. So our global reach is around five different regions, and then we also have around 250 food safety professionals and our teams surrounding our food safety professionals. And we serve around about 130 countries with food safety audits, trainings, and inspections.
Oh, wow. When you're helping a customer, is it more for new startups or is it for existing businesses? What is AIB's strength when it comes to food safety?
That's a good question, Ryan. It can be from both, and we have new clients, as you mentioned, startups who are just finding their feet within the food industry. And our mission, we stand positively impact the food industry. And that can be right through the supply chain, and that can be the small startups, and also we work with multinational organizations as well. But the message is the same. We're there to try and inspire individuals within the food safety programs to develop their processes and procedures. But ultimately, we're promoting food safety integrity. It's really important to us to equip our clients with the right knowledge, because we're not just an auditing and inspection organization. It's training. It's very much about equipping our clients with the right knowledge so that when we walk away, they continue to develop their own food safety programs. And, a lot today is talked about food safety culture. For AIB, our mission is, when we think about food safety culture, is that people still do the right thing when nobody's watching them.
Right.
It's really important that they understand what's the right thing to do and how to do it. And I say our mission's always been able to equip our clients with that knowledge. So for startups, it's really, really helpful because, I say, they're finding their feet within the food industry, and there's going to be quite a lot of milestones and challenges ahead. So we're real experts in helping them through that journey, provide them with a roadmap, and then with our clients that we work with internationally, globally, they see us for that support with their own really very well developed food safety programs. And we are there to support and to provide this development. The world is a very different place at the moment. Nothing's standing still. We're all faced with very new and different challenges. And as AIB International, we've risen to these recent challenges as well, where we've been working very, very hard to help clients in very different and difficult situations to continue to make safe food, because ultimately, everybody deserves safe food every day, no matter what situation we may be in.
Right. You just mentioned culture, and I know that's a very tricky word or tricky thing to push through. How do you manage the culture? How do you? I'm assuming all customers consume. They want to make a safe product, but how do you know that when you walk away, that operator is doing that? How do you know that the company's building that culture?
Yeah, I think we're lucky and privileged to work with great clients that recognize the value that we bring to them. I think the measure is when we meet with clients, and I was an auditor before my current position. I was also out in manufacturing before, and I was able to experience my first AIB inspection back in 1993, and I thought we had a pretty good food safety culture.
Right.
Proud of what we were able to achieve from an auditing point of view. And I think something that stuck with me from that time even to now is that we were shown how to do things the right way. And sometimes when you understand the right way, it becomes easy. And when things become easy, they become more pleasurable. And when it's more pleasurable, people actually enjoy what it is they're doing. And that generally promotes a very open culture. We find that our clients are able to reach out to us when they've got a problem. So they're not hiding issues. They want to know how to solve problems. And we try to measure it in the way that we provide solutions to clients. And one of the greatest measures that I always remember is going into a facility, and because lots of our inspections are unannounced, and in the first 5 minutes that somebody shouted across the room, "Jeff, we've got our food safety program up and running as we said we would. We've trained everybody.
Right.
Guess what we found last week?" And they started to tell me all the details, and they were very open, and that tells us that when people share their problems, they've got a very positive food safety culture. And as I said before, doing the right thing when people are not watching, it's a very simple phrase, but we tell people to wash their hands. We show them what is the best way, best temperature, best cleaning materials to use. But the minute we walk away, they don't do that, then there's a breakdown in what they believe in. And thankfully, through our training, our clients understand what's right, and that they find an easy way to provide what's right every day. And of course, the food safety is not just with one or two individuals. So what we challenge when we go into facilities is talking to everybody within the facility, each level, and try and understand that procedures and policies that are in place are actually being communicated down to people on front line, factory floor, and that gives us a very good measure. And if we ask somebody what is a company's mission statement, and they can tell us, and then they can tell us a little bit more about what it actually means, then we've got a pretty good measure that these guys know what it is they're being asked to do and how to do it every day, every shift, night shift. And that's a really simple measure, just talking to people and hearing what they have to say about their food safety programs.
Right, that's interesting because you said that when you walk into a plant, they're shouting across to you. But typically, when you hear an auditor, don't customers clam up? They don't want to say they want to say the least amount of possible to an auditor. So it sounds like you're really building a relationship with your customers for them to have that trust with you.
Yeah, the white coat syndrome, and they run the opposite way. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's easy to get that trust and development, but that's what it really is about: is promoting the knowledge and solutions to clients to say, if you trust in what we will help you with, you will see that not just the senior management teams or the quality teams, but everyone then understands that the food safety program is about everybody. And sometimes we think about maybe everybody cannot do all things in a facility, but somebody can do something. One of the key things that we work on is working with individuals. It could be from the cleaning crew, and we want to know what it is they do when they clean and what sort of challenges they have when they clean. And if they can tell us openly that sometimes we don't get enough time because production runs are longer, it's not our policy to judge that. It's our policy to help them understand what they can do better, maybe to complete their cleaning programs effectively. It could be that there's an engineering issue that creates a cleaning program, in which case we would work with the engineering team to find out maybe there's a repeat issue that's creating a cleaning problem. So we try and promote that openness so that we don't get the people running in the wrong direction. People do not clam up. They can actually share with us, because we have our own set of standards. We work to lots of different auditing standards around the world, but at AIB we have our own consolidated standards for food safety, and I think that's one of our advantages, is that we can actually consult on the standards.
So you're actually wearing two hats. AIB is both a consultant and an external auditor for compliance.
That's right. There are global food safety initiative audits around the world, and we have some of our team that can provide those audits. They are necessary, and they have a great place within the food industry. We don't own that standard, of course, so quite rightly we're not allowed to consult on it. But when we provide an AIB inspection, and there are two differences here. An audit is more about a compliance style audit that we don't consult on. But for food safety inspection, we own the standard. So when we raise an observation, we're able then to consult. So then our training hat, as you mentioned, comes into play, and that's the difference. That's the supporting side. When we identify an issue, it isn't just you haven't met this clause in the standard. This is the issue, and let's think about it together, how we're going to correct this. And it could be something that takes significant investment. So whenever we conduct our inspections and audits, we will have a closing meeting when we'll talk through the findings and then try and bring solutions. And that could be that more training is required. That could be training that AIB can provide, not always. We pride ourselves in trying to work with industry experts around the world. So we see a particular gap that isn't maybe a skill set in AIB's portfolio, then we can say, well, talk to these guys, because they may be able to help you and bring you the right type of advice that you need to correct this problem. So it's a very open consultation that we're able to give when we do our AIB inspection.
Interesting. Now, if I'm a new client, how do I get a hold of AIB? What are the steps for if I want my plant audited? Or not even audited, if I want to improve my quality, what do I need to do?
Okay, well, depending where you are in the world, but we have obviously our website where we can find AIB International. We have our teams located around the 5 regions that I mentioned before, but reaching out to us very quickly and easily is just to go to aibinternational.com. On the website, then you'll see our team, you'll understand where we are all located, and it also helps people just step through the different products that they may be looking for. You mentioned about GFSI audits before, but all of our training and audit and inspection products can be seen on the website. We also pride ourselves in talking to people very quickly. So our response time to find out what a new client or an existing client's needs are, we do that very quickly, either through our our sales team or with myself in operations. And our teams are, because of our geographies, and pretty much we can be contacted 24 hours a day with our different time zones. And that's happened quite a lot, actually. Someone's had a request in China, and the head office has actually been in the UK.
Right.
But we can be contacted very quickly. Another thing we pride ourselves with is that our team, I mentioned the food safety professionals that we have, and they all work for AIB International. What that means is it gives us a very high degree of flexibility working with, be it even a new client or an existing client. We pride ourselves in being able to get to see a client very quickly. And things do change. Obviously, clients have a audit program with AIB International, but then sometimes things change. Or they might have a new supplier that they're going to work with, and they're going to have a particular type of audit performed. And we're able to provide very quick turnaround. So speed of client is really something that we do pride ourselves with, and thankfully, that's helped grow our business and also provide depth of knowledge quickly to clients that need our help.
Oh, that's exciting, Jeff. Thank you for introducing AIB International. This is very informative, and I hope that you continue your global charge to put quality worldwide and educate customers or consumers, manufacturers, and help them deliver safe quality products.
Thank you, Ryan. My pleasure.
Looking forward to talking to you again.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.